You say something to your cat. Maybe it's their name. Maybe it's a question you know they can't answer. Maybe it's a full sentence about something completely unrelated to them, said out loud because they happen to be in the room, and you talk to your cat the way some people talk to themselves. And they respond. A short sound, a trill, a slow open of the mouth that produces something between a meow and a chirp. Sometimes a full, extended vocalization that has a shape to it, a rise and fall, that sounds unsettlingly like they're trying to match your sentence with one of their own. And you laugh or you talk back and they respond again, and suddenly you're having a conversation with a cat that is going on longer than some conversations you've had with actual humans. Most people file this under cute and move on. But what's happening in that exchange is not cute in the trivial sense. It is one of the most remarkable things your cat does, and it reveals something about the relationship between you that took thousands of years to develop and exists, in this specific form, nowhere else in the animal kingdom. 1. Your cat invented this for you specifically. Here is the thing most people don't know, and once you know it, the talking back sounds completely different. Adult cats almost never meow at other cats. Kittens meow at their mothers because they're helpless and they need things, and sound is the only tool available to them. But as cats mature, that vocalization fades from their communication with other cats almost entirely. Adult cats communicate with each other through scent, through body language, through posture and tail position, and slow blinking and the angle of their ears. The meow, the talking back, the chirps and trills and extended vocalizations your cat produces in conversation with you, none of that exists in their natural communication with other cats. It is a behavior that emerged specifically from living alongside humans. Your cat figured out, over time, that you don't read body language the way another cat would. You miss the tail signals. You don't register the scent communication. You're largely unable to interpret the subtle postural cues that carry enormous meaning in cat social interaction. You are, from a communication standpoint, quite limited. So they adapted. They took the one tool they had from kittenhood, the ability to produce sounds that get a response from a larger creature, and they developed it into something more sophisticated. They shaped it, over the course of living with you, into a vocabulary that works between the two of you specifically. The sound your cat makes when they're hungry is different from the sound they make when they want to be let out. The sound they make when they're greeting you is different from the sound they make at 3 in the morning for reasons that remain unclear. These distinctions are not random. They develop through repetition and response, through your cat trying something and you reacting, and both of you slowly building a shared language out of that exchange. That language does not exist with any other human. It is specific to you and your cat. It evolved in the space between you and nowhere else. 2. When they respond to your voice, they're recognizing something deeper than sound. Here's what the science says, because it's worth knowing. A 2022 study from the University of Paris tested whether cats could distinguish their owner's voice from a stranger's voice. The finding was specific and important. Cats responded significantly more to their owner's voice, but only when the owner used a particular kind of tone. The soft, high-pitched, slightly exaggerated register that people naturally adopt when talking to cats and small children. When owners spoke in their normal adult voice, the cats barely reacted, but the moment that tone shifted, cats perked up, oriented toward the source, and in many cases moved closer or vocalized in response. What this means is that your cat is not just recognizing your voice as a familiar sound, they're recognizing a specific mode of address that you use when you're talking to them. They know when you're talking at them versus talking to them, and they respond to the latter in a way that is qualitatively different. When you talk to your cat and they talk back, you have both shifted into a register that only exists in this relationship. You changed your voice for them. They learn to recognize that change, and they answer it. And if this is making you want to go have a conversation with your cat right now, hit like and subscribe first. It helps us reach more cat owners who want to understand what their cat has been building with them all along. 3. The back and forth is not imitation, it's turn-taking. Watch the structure of the conversation closely next time it happens. You speak. They wait. Then they respond. Then they wait. Then you speak again. This is not your cat making noise while you make noise. This is your cat observing the structure of conversation and participating in it. They understand, at some level, that this exchange has a rhythm, that there are turns, that the right moment to vocalize is after you've finished, not during. Turn-taking in communication is considered a marker of social sophistication. It requires the ability to monitor another's behavior, recognize when it has completed, and time your own response accordingly. Human infants develop this capacity in the first months of life as part of learning how communication works. Your cat has developed it in the context of their relationship with you, not because they were taught, because they were paying attention. The cats who are most conversational, who respond most consistently, and with the most variety in their vocalizations, are almost always the cats who have had the most accumulated hours of this kind of exchange. It develops through practice, through a person who talks to their cat regularly, who responds when the cat responds, who treats the exchange as real rather than dismissing it as noise. The conversation got richer because you kept having it. Your cat got more expressive because you kept listening. 4. Some of what they're saying has specific meaning, and you already know it. This is the part that surprises people when they actually stop and think about it. You know what your cat sounds like when they want food. You know the sound they make when they're startled versus the sound they make when they're content. You know the difference between the meow that means, "let me out," and the meow that means, "I am simply announcing my presence in this room." You learned all of that, without being taught, through exposure and attention and the accumulated experience of living with this specific animal. Your cat has a vocabulary with you. It is small compared to human language. It is imprecise in ways that human language is not. But it is real, it is functional, and both of you built it together without ever consciously deciding to. Research into cat vocalizations has found that the sounds cats produce for their owners are more varied and more individually specific than previously understood. Cats modulate pitch, duration, rhythm, and intensity in ways that carry different meanings in different contexts. And owners, even without any training, are often able to identify the emotional content of these sounds with significant accuracy. You are already translating. You have been for as long as you've had your cat. The conversation you think is one-sided is something you are both fluent in different ways. 5. The cats who go quiet are telling you something too. A cat who used to talk back and has stopped is worth paying attention to. Vocalization in cats is tied directly to their sense of engagement with their environment and with the people in it. A cat who feels settled, connected, and stimulated communicates. Not constantly, not loudly, but consistently. The talking back is part of the texture of a relationship that's functioning well. When that goes quiet, something has usually shifted. Sometimes it's physical. Cats in pain or discomfort become less communicative. The energy that goes into interaction gets redirected toward managing what doesn't feel right. If the silence arrived alongside other changes, less movement, different eating patterns, more time spent alone, it's worth a vet visit. Sometimes it's relational. A cat whose attempts at communication were consistently met with nothing, or with responses that felt wrong to them, loud, sudden, dismissive, learns to stop trying. Not all at once. Gradually. The vocalizations become less frequent, the responses to your voice become more muted, and eventually the back and forth that used to happen naturally just stops happening. This is reversible, but it requires the same thing it required to build the conversation in the first place. Consistency, genuine response, the willingness to treat what your cat offers as worth receiving. Talk to them. When they answer, answer back. Do it without needing it to mean something profound every time. Just maintain the exchange. The conversation will come back. 6. They're not talking to the room. They're talking to you. Here's what I keep returning to with this. Your cat could be silent. Many animals are. Silence is, in many ways, the safer option for a small predator who also needs to avoid becoming prey. Unnecessary vocalization is a liability in the wild. It reveals location. It announces presence. Evolution, in most contexts, selects against it. Your cat makes noise anyway. Specifically, they make noise at you, in response to you, in the particular register and rhythm and turn-taking structure of a conversation directed at a specific individual. That didn't happen by accident. It happened because your cat, over the time you've spent together, decided that communicating with you was worth the effort of developing an entirely new mode of expression. Worth the vulnerability of making sound. Worth the adaptation required to build something that didn't exist in their natural behavioral repertoire. They built a language for you. Not for cats, not for any human, for you specifically, in the context of the specific relationship the two of you have developed over time. The next time your cat answers you, hear it for what it is. Not a quirk, not background noise, not your imagination projecting meaning onto random sound. It's your cat using the most sophisticated communication tool they have, the one they developed specifically for this relationship, to do the one thing it was always designed to do: talk back to the one person worth building a language for.